Hi and welcome to this live Commodity Strength Indicator Table video with me, John, on this Tuesday the 22nd of August. Here you can see we have our tables in front of us and we've seen a significant change overnight. If I go back to our rolling tables here, and you can see yesterday evening New Zealand and Aussie were on the weak side of the tables. That has now switched. They're now on the strong side, showing us that that risk on is coming into the markets here, and we can see that now as yen also remains on the weak side. So according to the tables, pound yen is still the one to watch. Now, we did a video yesterday talking about pound yen. We're going to be doing the exact same thing today, and we can see that if I just expand pound yen open, just added a few more labels to it just to give us a little bit more of a breakdown here. But essentially there's no change too much to the analysis yesterday. The only thing that we're noticing at the moment is we're getting that pullback. So that means to me that the market is going in a little bit risk off mode as just the sort of European sessions coming in, and to me that's a sign that there's a lot of indecision in the market at the moment. And yeah, that could be due to multiple different things. We've got some key data out of the US. It's Jackson Hole Symposium this week. We have different Federal Reserve members speaking. We've also obviously had that data out of China, which was a little bit disappointing, which has almost given that risk on rally a little bit more of a sort of fuel to keep going. And we've also got obviously the potential for the Bank of Japan to intervene at some point. No definitive talk has happened yet that the Bank of Japan will intervene, but we've got some murmurings as well. And we did get some Japanese CPI data overnight. So the market has got a lot to deal with, a lot of high impact data. We're also coming into month end as well, which doesn't really help. August as well, we know, is a really tricky month to trade and have those trading conditions. So it's going to be an interesting end to the month. And basically what I'm trying to say is that the markets could flip between the risk on, risk off sentiment quite easily. Now, pound yen at the moment, we traded up to that 186.50, which is what we were talking about yesterday. Unfortunately, it didn't come back to give us that initial entry. We did say maybe you could look at longs on the close there. Unfortunately, price just took off. It didn't give us that sort of entry at the 50 that we were looking for. However, price is pulling back at the moment. What we can see, we had is a consolidation. We've broken out of that consolidation low, so I would expect price to continue down into previous support. So 185 spot 50 is still the level of interest for me, because you can see it was support, resistance, and it was that breakout area. We've also got the 50 moving average running through here now, as well as a trend line support. So I think if price got down into this level here, there's a lot of reasons for buyers to step back into the market, and that's what we want to be looking for. We want reasons for buyers to be involved. So if price can get back down into that level there, that would be great. I think we could then start to look for a potential position in pound yen. Still looking for those immediate targets around about the 188. It obviously could pursue higher targets as well, but I think that would be a good starting point to target if we were to look and get into any kind of position in the market here. Obviously, yen weakness is a big topic, and we did discuss other markets yesterday. However, because Kiwi and Aussie have turned so aggressively, there may be some opportunities on those markets. It may be a little bit tricky to get involved with them because obviously, like I said, that risk on, risk off sentiment does shift quite aggressively. But Aussie yen at the moment is kind of holding above that 92 spot 50 handle if we look at it from a weekly perspective. Going down to the daily, we also come down into the 93 handle. The 93 handle was the previous lows on this daily chart, so it does make sense for price to start moving higher from this level. From a higher time frame point of view, we've still got a strong trend line resistance to contend with. That comes back in at the 94.50. I think if we're going to get any kind of definitive changes here, with that risk sentiment. We need to see price trade through the trend line. We need to see it break through this high. That would give the tables something to work with as well, because I imagine Aussie would then disappear from the weak side of the tables and reappear on the strong side of the tables. So that would be something then that we can look for, that definitive move. I mean, if we're looking for initial sort of targets back up at that area, there could be an option for us if we were to kind of dive in into those lower time frames. The one thing I am seeing at the moment though is a period of consolidation, and it's, you know, it's the market just being in this kind of situation where we've got multiple things going on. You can see there's a bit of a channel there. We're also kind of sticking in at these prior highs here around about the 94 handle, and you know, that to me is a little bit of a sticking point. If price was to then kind of trade through that, then we're probably going to be seeing price target the 50 or even these lows again. If we break higher, then yes, it could target that sort of 94.60, 94.50 handle. But really speaking, Aussie yen is the only real one to watch at the moment. We could take a look at some other pairs, including sort of pound US dollar, including to the cable. Cable I do quite like from a higher time frame perspective. If we take a look at it from the weekly, for instance, we are technically in an upward trend here. We're above the daily 200 moving average. We've tested support at 1.2650. So, you know, from sort of just technicals alone, you'd be saying, well, there's a good idea that price could maybe move higher. However, if we go down into the daily time frame, price still a little bit stuck. Again, we've kind of got this sort of range going on between the 128 and the 126.50. So I would be more comfortable looking for longs if price was to trade outside of this. Yes, if I just remove this now, because price has obviously broken through these levels. But yes, if I was to just grab a trend line, go from the high to high, we have breached this trend line resistance, which is a good sign that price could start to trade higher. I just prefer a little bit more of a definitive move here, where we could potentially see a little bit of a breakout to this area. If anything, it's this high, right? This high right there. So obviously price has come back into this level at some point, and we've dropped significantly, about 200 pips. You know, that is to me a potential where a large investors come into the market, or institutions have come into the market, because they're pushing price on that sort of turn in price there. So if we get above that, obviously the market may want to go and seek other parts of the market, other prices, which could be these highs in here, or back at that 1.3 handle. So I think the key is going to be this previous high. If we can get above it, great. If not, then price may continue to sort of trade within the overall range here. So hopefully that made sense. Hopefully you enjoyed that video update. One other market just before I finish, actually, the only thing is they're both on the same side of the tables, is that dollar yen. So sorry, let me just jump into that one before I finish. We're looking at this because of the weekly chart. We're looking at it because we're above 145, obviously. Looking at it from an hourly at the moment, there is no technical setup here. We have broken or breached a trend line support. You can also see price has actually formed an inverse head and shoulders at the 145 handle. So we've breached that as well. We've got a bit of a descending trend line there. So if anything, we could look maybe to see around this descending trend line where price is coming in to now. Are we going to see any buyers step in? Does that then change the mood or the tone for us here with regards to dollar versus the yen? Does it change it for pound yen, for instance? You know, we've got that to consider as well. So price coming into that area now, I'll be interested to see if we do get any kind of buying on dollar yen and how that reflects on pound yen. So keep that one in mind as well. So I'll leave it there finally. Thanks for watching the video update, and I'll catch you in the next one.